Less than 2 months ago, Starbucks workers in Buffalo, New York were celebrating the election results in favor of forming the first ever Starbucks union in the United States. Now, in a chain-like reaction, more than 50 Starbucks stores are petitioning for union representation. Baristas at 54 cafes from Colorado and Chicago to Oregon and Seattle, as well as more stores in Buffalo, are filing to form unions with the National Labor Relations Board. On January 31st, 16 stores filed for unionization in just one day. Up until this latest wave of union petitions, Starbucks had largely been responding to these union claims by asking workers to vote to, quote, protect our culture and direct working relationship, according to a text sent out to baristas voting on unionization at a store in Buffalo. The company has also filed petitions to delay union votes, alleging timing issues, and in the case of Buffalo, asking all stores in the region to vote since many baristas work in multiple stores. These requests were denied by the National Labor Relations Board. SB Workers United has also alleged union-busting tactics like closing stores unexpectedly and flooding stores with corporate representation, allegations which the company has categorically denied. But as a deluge of unionization applications grows, it could also become harder and harder for Starbucks to fight back against each individually. And it's possible that other coffee chains and even the rest of the food service industry could follow suit in seeking union representation. If they see so many Starbucks stores being successful, many more unions in the food service industry could follow, especially during this time of labor shortage.
Which again frustrate employees. When employees are frustrated, that's when they become receptive to union pitches, whether it's from a coworker or from a union rep or both. Mm-hmm. So that's what's different. But it's really striking to me now what's going on with Starbucks in particular, because they're seeing a wave, and in so many respects, as you know, they're a bellwether for other restaurant companies because they're all over the place. They're obviously extremely successful. And they've been extremely successful at keeping unions at bay, and now they're not anymore. And again, the unions can hold them up and go, okay, here you are at, I'm making this up, Caribou Coffee or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. And you go, yeah, I know you don't want a union, but look at your friends over at Starbucks. Even they, with all of their great benefits and everything else, they're voting in the union. Shouldn't you? That becomes part of the appeal for the union.
Historically, the restaurant industry is slow to unionize, partially because workplace turnover is so high. College kids working as a server for a summer job won't care or be around for if their workplace organizes. But now, unions can make progress in the restaurant industry by chipping away one store of baristas at a time.
It would be so rare to see a union care about a unit of less than 20 or 30 employees, and now they care a lot because they see that they can string one together with another, and very quickly get to that, numerous bargaining units that end up giving them, 300-400 members very easily. Obviously, in the old days, it was easy to just get one big location, but there's not as many companies out there now that have hundreds of employees that you can organize in one fell swoop.
And this large group of Starbucks unions petitioning for representation might just be the catalyst needed in the restaurant industry for unions to become more common. Ironically, Colm said, as unions spread in the restaurant industry, he believes that food service industry jobs might become rarer.
So the ironic part of this, and the unfortunate part for employees, is there's going to be fewer restaurant jobs as a result. Because again, if you're in a boardroom and you're sitting there going, oh my goodness, how much do we need to, keep investing in people who are going to call in sick, who are going to quit, who are going to, go through their training and then, decide they don't want to show up for their shift on a regular basis? Or are we going to, spend a couple $100,000 or more on a piece of equipment that is going to replace 4 or 5 employees and just do everything automatically?
But for Patrick Machel, a bartender with Anchor Brewing and representative for the brewery's year-old union, being part of a union has given him a seat and a voice at the table, and they have not been replaced by AI or automation.
So it's like 2 very, very different generations of workers, where before the Sapporo, the beer company, bought us out back in 2019 or 2018, that the workers were treated pretty well by one of the guys who actually kind of started the craft brewery movement. Mm-hmm. They were still around. They still, were treated pretty well. But all these new workers that were coming in were under kind of like a different, I guess, boss. And the boss didn't really care for us as workers at the time like they did with the other workers. So, there was a lot of like trying to convince both sides to try and like work together and try and help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it kind of worked out, but it's a huge process of just like understanding where people are and kind of like meeting with them to kind of like figure out why they would want to do this with you, because of the way that our contract is written, they can't do certain things unless they actually bargain with the workers about what these effective changes could be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, I don't want to say it like it keeps their process, but it gives them an extra step to actually put us within the process.
For more updates on the Starbucks unionization efforts, follow nrn.com/companies/Starbucks. And for all other restaurant news, subscribe to NRN AM at nrn.com/newsletters/signup.